From Cambiano, northwest of Italy, welcome to the GCN show!
Welcome to the GCN show.
Coming up this week, what is the next big thing in cycling? It's hot on the heels of gravel and disc brakes and electronic gears. We think we might know what's next.
We've also got a Pauline Ferrand-Prévot Bodge, a new QOM on Sacalobra, and how Cy Richardson cheated his way to 11th place on that same climb.
What? I was 11th place on Sacalobra?
You were, not anymore. Flagged. This week in the world of cycling, we learned that if a Colnago C68 isn't quite exclusive enough for you, why not just get a limited edition Colnago C68 by Motoki Yosho?
Yes, and it will only set you back €17,300. But you know what? Despite that, I've been totally sucked in, okay? Because that is not just any old custom paint job, Dan.
No?
That is a result of analysing the geometry of the frame and the intersections of the parts from which it's composed.
Wow. Okay.
It does look good though, doesn't it?
Anyway, if that bike isn't up your street or indeed your river, we also learned this week that you can get an e-trike /camper /boat instead. And that will only set you back €14,300.
Bargain. The B Triton boat bike is available for pre-order now for all of those of you who are interested.
Can't hear many takers.
No.
Anyway, a bike that's not just a bike is not a new concept. No. But I think we can all agree that it probably doesn't represent the future of cycling. No. It did, though, make us wonder, what is coming up next in the world of cycling that is going to be really big?
That's right, because if it is that, I'm out of here. Anyway, in the last 10 years, there's been a whole load of big shifts in cycling. So disc brakes, big one, on their own sizable, but they've also allowed the rise of other things like gravel bikes.
Two things that still get some people apoplectic. Also e-bikes, aerodynamics, bike packing, a new improved Ollie Bridgewood.
Yes.
The cycling landscape, I think we can say, has changed quite significantly recently, but what are the next big things going to be?
Well, first thing for me, suspension. Okay, so we've been skirting around the edges of suspension on drop bar bikes for years, but now road bikes have sprouted wider tyres and carbon can be tuned to flex way more than a metal frame. I think they are probably immune to the threat of complicated heavy suspension designs, but gravel, now that's another story.
Yes, the fact is that gravel riding can be really, really, really bumpy.
It can be very bumpy,
So it definitely makes sense to design them with suspension because there's a limit as to what big tyres can soak up. And I think that fat bikes are living proof that nobody wants to go too wide anyway.
Yeah, how big is too big? Fat bikes. There we go. Now, I am torn on suspension, okay? On the one hand, I can see the design case for it that you've just explained, and having ridden ones, the 9er MCR, for example, a few years ago, I know firsthand just how fun a full suspension gravel bike can be.
There's a but here.
There is a but, yeah. I still love the simplicity and the aesthetics and the costs, to a certain extent, of a gravel bike that looks like a road bike as opposed to a mountain bike. Case in point, the new Scepter from hardcore mountain bike brand YT, launched last week, looks like a fun bike. However, the new Argonaut, which was released in the same week, looks sublime.
You really do love that bike, don't you?
Look at it, it's beautiful.
You do know it's not cheap though.
I do know that it's not cheap, unfortunately, yeah. So that doesn't make my point completely, but you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. I think there's a place for both, to be honest, but I do agree that suspension is bound to pop up on more and more bikes in the near future, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sticking with tech, we've seen an influx over the last couple of years of more ways of monitoring performance, haven't we? So on your bike, aero-sensors have joined power meters and head units. But then wearables like Whoop or blood glucose monitors or microbiome analysis, they're going to allow a certain type of cyclist to really push their performance to the limit.
Well, yeah, Ollie talked about all of those, didn't he? Yep. In his video at the weekend, he has used all of those techniques or devices to get him where he is today, or help get him where he is today, I should say. That kind of tech, though, does not come cheap. No. So I actually don't think this is the next big thing. I think it's going to transform pro cycling, or continue to, and I think it's going to really help a certain type of very wealthy alpha personality.
Or just a GCN presenter, maybe.
Yes.
No, I'm not sure Ollie would fit in either category, to be honest.
What, alpha or Pro. Yeah, no, I don't think it would either. I do worry, genuinely, that there is a potential for these kind of developments to increase the cost of cycling. I'm not just talking about like spare parts. You know, this is optional tech, but it doesn't help with the accessibility of the sport, does it? If you turn up to your local club run and you find that everyone there is been coached and monitored within an inch of their lives, and they're aero optimized, and they're about 5k an hour faster than they otherwise would have been, it doesn't help, does it?
No. It might be a barrier to entry.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that is a part of why we are seeing the steady rise in bike packing, also cycling, touring, and general exploring on bikes as well. It's not all about performance. And I think for many people, it's becoming less and less about performance, although it's not the next big thing, bike packing style, bike touring, because it's already big.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. It's going to get bigger, isn't it? But no, and it's just as well that it's not all about performance anymore. For you and I, isn't it?
Very true.
Right, what about racing? Next big thing in racing?
Gravel, of course. Isn't that obvious? Yeah. No, I'm joking. I mean, we might see more gravel races cropping up, and more gravel in general, particularly at the World Championships, actually, where apparently there was very little in the form of gravel, wasn't there, about a month or so ago?
Yes.
But as much as it'll become more and more popular in participation, I don't see it becoming the next big thing in bike race broadcasting, personally.
No, okay, maybe not. If gravel's not the next big thing, then what is?
Well, that's the $1 million question, really, isn't it? I'd probably become quite wealthy if I knew what was next. But what I would say is that I think sprinting could well go the same way as time trialling, in that there's going to be a lot less of it in the near future, or at least that sprinters and their teams will be made to work harder and harder to guarantee a bunch sprint in the first place. And the reason that I say that is that in the days of full live stave coverage from kilometre 0 to the finish line,
you can watch on GCN+.
Yeah, that coinciding with viewers that have a much lower attention span, shall we say, than they did in the past, means that a 200 kilometre flat sprint stage at a Grand Tour is, quite frankly, really boring for the first 5 hours.
Yes, it is, isn't it? So in conclusion then, the next big thing in bike racing is anti-sprinting.
Yes.
Okay, but what about multidiscipline riders? Because that's kind of been an emerging trend, hasn't it? Can the likes of Van Aert and Brand and Van der Poel continue doing what they're doing? Or are they going to have to specialise to actually win the amount of road stuff that they should win?
Well, not only will they continue, but that type of thing is going to get even more prevalent, and it's because the names that you mentioned, along with the likes of Finn van Empel, Puk Pieterse, Zoe Bagstedt, and a whole load of others, they're making cycling really cool. Check out this victory celebration, for example, from Puk Pieterse. This sort of thing, I would say, is going to inspire a whole generation of riders, and they're going to grow up assuming that it's the norm, rather than the exception, to not only compete, but also be really good in multiple cycling disciplines.
And do one-handed wheelies, clearly. So to find the next Eddie Merckx then, or the next Marianne Vos, look no further than your local under-10 cyclocross race.
Exactly,
basically.
yes. Although make sure you stick around for quite some time after the winner crosses the line if you would like to find the next Dan Lloyd or Cy Richardson.
Yes, unfortunately that is true. If you want to find the next Ollie Bridgewood though, just look for riders taking slightly revealing post-race selfies.
I did enjoy, well, I don't know what I should say there.
You had a chuckle?
I had a chuckle when I saw that photo at the start of his video, although to be fair, I would probably take the same sort of pictures if I was that lean. Well done, Ollie.
That's his best influencer pose, isn't it? Like sucked in.
I reckon he took quite a few photos to get to that point.
I bet he did, yeah. I bet he did.
Anyway, we're rapidly getting off topic.
Yes.
So let's go back to what the next big thing in cycling is going to be and throw it all out to you. I'm going to pose that very question. What do you think is going to take the cycling world by storm over the next few years or so?
Yeah, let us know in the comment section down below, and we're going to revisit it to see who was right in a couple of years' time.
Yes, we are indeed. I've actually put a reminder in my phone for exactly 2 years' time, because I thought it'd be really interesting to see who was closest and who was furthest away, not just with us, but mainly with the comments below.
And now it's time for cycling shorts.
Cycling shorts now, and we will start with the news that a new cycling computer game is being released. Now, we've not tried it, and seeing as the last computer game that I played was, I think, Tomb Raider 3 in 1999, I don't really understand it, but it's called Dustland.
Sounds great, doesn't it? But don't worry, Si, because I do know about this even though the last game that I played was Pac-Man in 1987. Basically, it's an immersive game set in a post-apocalyptic world that you ride around, and it looks from the promo video that you'll end up doing very high intensity intervals trying to escape from robot dogs, amongst many other things.
Wowzers. So pedal for survival and to save the
Next
world.
level,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, I just thank goodness that they're robo dogs and not cows. as
Oh,
far as
Christ,
I know.
yes.
Yeah.
You'd go to the next level then, wouldn't you?
Yeah, right. Most importantly, for you lot, it's free to download, apparently.
Let us know how you get on.
Yeah.
In other news, the Sakalobra QOM has been broken by newly crowned UK National Hill Climb champion and current Everesting world record holder, Ollie Gardner.
Yeah, Sakalobra, need we tell you, being one of the most prestigious K or QOMs in the world of cycling.
Yes.
So that for Ollie to be breaking that is remarkably impressive.
Well, initially, had it not been for my research a little bit earlier on today, I would have been suspicious that you were saying how prestigious that KOM or QOM is because you were 11th on the leaderboard, weren't you? A mightily impressive result, just ahead of Lars van der Haar, the
Yeah.
cyclocross legend.
And now that took me by surprise. Not that I'd beaten Lars van der Haar, but the time that I'd set, come 11th, I don't ever remember doing. And I definitely would have remembered doing that.
Yeah, we had a discussion. Are you sure, Dan, that's the correct segment? Because
Yeah.
I remember 29 minutes, not 25 minutes 45.
28 minutes, 20 seconds. But anyway, it turns out that when we were filming last year's Zwift Academy, I'd ridden some of that day with the finalists and then put my bike on the team car and forgotten to press stop. Anyway, I'd hidden the ride because we didn't want what we were doing to come out into the public domain. But at some point over the last 11 months, my ride has been set to public. And anyway,
Surely only you could have set it to public.
well, surely, I don't know how it's happened, but interestingly, one of the comments under that ride was, whoa, that's a seriously fast time up Sakalobra, bro. That's as fast as the Zwift Academy riders had done.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because I was sat behind them in a team car.
Yeah, you were going exactly the same speed.
Exactly.
You just weren't pedalling at the same time. I think this is just as bad as me being 130 centimetres on Zwift side, so I'll happily pass the cheating bucket along to you. Either way, we've once again got off topic. It does definitely show that Ollie Gardner is an incredible talent when it comes to going uphill, whether it's for a long time like Everesting, whether it's for a short national hill climb effort, or indeed at the Sakalobra QOM. It'd be great to see her doing some big pro races in the near future, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Talking of pro races, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot's debut as an Ineos Grenadier didn't exactly go to plan last Tuesday,
It did not, did it? No. So she started at the back of the grid, having not competed in cyclocross for almost 3 years. She passed a load of risers, as you'd expect, before then having a mechanical, after which things then went from bad to worse.
Yeah, it took her an age to try and fix it. She then decided that she needed to run to the pits, where her pit crew decided first to remain at the end of the pits, thus making her run even further to even get to her spare bike, and then the mechanic stood on the wrong side of the bike.
Do you think she was regretting at that point signing for the Ineos
I wouldn't be
Grenadiers?
surprised, yeah.
She did manage to claw her way back into the top 10, mighty impressive, before another mechanical then meant she had to run the last part of the race.
Problems for Pauline Ferrand-Prévot in the world of cyclocross are a bit like World Championships times, aren't they? They come along 4 at once.
Yeah. Do make sure you are watching the cyclocross season unfold on GCN Plus Me. There's so many races live on there and on demand. The Euro Champs in Namur at the weekend was particularly cool. As you can see, the rain made the men's race a real showstopper.
Yeah. It's always a fantastic course, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Apparently they want to host the World Championships in a not too distant future.
I
The
would
first
like
one up
them
for
to.
grabs is 2028.
Oh,
Yeah, so it
serious?
could be quite some time, yeah.
No, that's a shame. Yeah, Namur is my favourite cross race. It's taken over from Havre, actually. Make sure you watch them both. Right then, on a completely different subject, Dan, I would like to formally retract my statement that I made on social media that Mud Dock in Bristol is one of my favourite bike shops.
Harsh, why is that?
Well, it's still one of my favourite bike shops, but I had really fond memories of my team kit when they sponsored me, right? And then when I went back to my mum and dad's the weekend, I found a photo of me wearing said kit from 1998. And this is it. I was a 14-year-old boy wearing hot pants. Why was their team kit hot pants skin suit? I mean, seriously, I'm thinking of therapy at the minute to try and process this.
I'll be honest with you, Si, I'm considering therapy myself now that I've just seen it. Although that picture does explain a lot, Si, doesn't it?
Oh man, that's cold. Yes, it does explain quite a lot. Just before we go there, we are still after your suggestions for the best bike shop in the world, by the way. So that was up on Instagram, on GCN's Instagram feed. But get involved in the comment section as well. What do you think are the best bike shops in the world? Or is it who do you think is the best bike shop in the world? Couldn't quite work that out.
Or
but,
which do you think is the best bike shop in the world and why? Anyway, let's know. Anyway, moving on to the great news that Bianchi are going to be back in the men's pro peloton next season.
Cool.
So the famous Celeste green, actually it's Celeste, isn't it?
Celeste
green bikes are going to be used by the French squad, Arkea Samsic.
Yeah, now it will be great to see them back. A brand like that with such a history in the sport deserves to be there. But I would say the one problem Bianchi often have is that famous Celeste green that you mentioned. It clashes horribly with basically every pro kit.
Yes.
Arkea Samsic's bright red kit being one of them.
That is very true, I must admit. I guess Bora Hansgrohe might be the only team with an appropriate kit for that Celeste green.
Like green and Celeste green. That's a clash.
I think it's almost Celeste.
You think?
In some of the Bora bit. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below. Over to gravel now, though, where the nomination process is now open for the Gravel Cycling Hall of Fame.
Oh, I like it. 7 people were inducted last year, but if you would like to nominate someone for this year, you can head to gravelcyclinghof.com. You can nominate one. There are 6 categories, right? Promoters, athletes, volunteers, innovators, rouleurs, whatever that is, and, you won't believe this, Dan,
What?
storytellers.
Oh, hello!
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how many stories have we told about gravel and its spirit and who's ruining it over the years?
Exactly, countless. So if you would like to nominate me and Dan for the Gravel Hall of Fame, you have our permission, okay?
Oh my word, I've never been inducted into any kind of Hall of Fame before.
No,
I'm pretty excited about that. So a reminder, gravelcyclinghof.com/nominate. Put our names in.
Yeah, please do. Genuinely, we're being completely serious. This would be like the ultimate accolade, wasn't it? I wonder where we'd go for the inauguration into the Hof.
Well, you'd imagine that you'd have to go to the home of gravel, which is Vicenza, isn't it? In Italy, where the World Championships took place. I can't wait for my invite. Anyway, we're going to move on again because we've got a giveaway for you, courtesy of our friends at Giro. They are offering 5 of their Eclipse spherical helmets to GCN viewers.
Yes, these are the new ones, actually. I've just got my hands on one.
Have you?
Very pleased with it, I am too. Very cool indeed. Aero, but also well ventilated. It's like the holy grail of bike helmets. Anyway, if you want to be in with a chance of winning, you've just got to head to the link in the description below this video and answer a question. So how many vents are there in the Eclipse helmet? 4, 14 or 24? Despite having worn one on a number of occasions now, I have no idea, but I think there's plenty.
You can always count them, so can't you?
Okay.
Anyway, you've got until 10 AM GMT on Friday the 17th of November to enter. You do, though, have a little bit longer than that to purchase tickets to the next Global Bike Festival, which will take place in 2023. However, early bird tickets are going to go live this coming Monday.
Oh yeah, so it's going to be even bigger and even better in 2023. It's because I'm going to be there this time.
And I won't. No, I will be.
Yeah, and my fingers are crossed that I'll be able to be there this time. Anyway, new routes, new rides, new races, new venues, new special guests, and more besides. So early bird tickets, which start from just £45, are now on sale at globalbikefestival.com. So make sure you get in quick before the prices go up.
Indeed. Finally, in cycling shorts this week, a quick heads up that the continental qualifiers for the UCI Cycling Esports World Championships are going to be taking place on Zwift this weekend. So that's the 12th and 13th of November.
You doing it?
I'm not, no, I might watch because there's some big name riders taking part in those UCI Esports World Championships last year, weren't there? So you'd imagine it will attract even better riders this time around to get a rainbow jersey.
That's right. They'll monitor your height. Just so you know, if you do enter, you might not be allowed to be 60 centimetres taller.
Well, you can't even use a car on Zwift.
Touche.
It is time now for hack/bodge of the week. Don't forget to get involved by submitting your hacks and bodges over to the GCN app, and indeed voting on the next ones for next week's show, which are already uploaded. The first one this week comes in from Richard Turner 7. Plastic ice cream lid chain ring and chain protector spotted on a bike in London.
I don't know what to say, Dan. I mean, it looks incredibly neat, even if it's...
Are you looking at the same photo as I am?
Well, I mean, that chainring protector, it's like it was made for that.
Chainring protector maybe, but the rest of the drivetrain protector, not as neat, I wouldn't say.
And is that a zip tie? Oh, no, it's not a zip tie. Oh, no, it's not even a zip tie, so that's all right. I think that's probably a hack, Dan.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I'm only kidding.
I think what we've got to ask ourselves, Si, is what is worse, a fourth cat's hat from an oily chain or ice cream tub lids covering each other?
Well, there's no problem with the fourth cat hat if it's on your leg, because you can just wipe it off. But oil is a real pain in the bum to get out of a pair of cream chinos. Just ask Hank. So that's probably better than ruining your pair of cream Ralph Lauren chinos.
Yes, we're both eking this out, but we're both saying bodge, I would imagine.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Yeah, bodge from me as well.
Okay, right. Jack123. Oh, by the way, 20% of you lot said that was a hack.
Oh.
So probably more than I was expecting.
Yes.
Anyway, right, yeah, Jack123, frame clearance. Filing down the seat stay bridge to get enough frame clearance for 2080 tyres. Now, I don't feel very comfortable with that, Dan.
Well, no, nothing that's an integral part of the frame should ever be filed down or removed, really, should it?
No. 28mm tyres are great, but they're probably not worth breaking your frame or your teeth or your hip or anything like that. I'd say run a 25.
It could be extra comfortable, but only briefly.
Yes. Yeah. No. What on earth are you doing, Jack?
Well, that's another bodge from both of us and a bodge from 89% of you. But we're going next level for the next one from Dr. Avanti. Okay. Custom low entry frame. A customer showed up at our workshop with this horrific self-made low entry frame.
What? No, you are kidding me. They've removed the top tube.
What?
How? What?
What I most like about this is that they have made quite a neat job of the two new ends to the top tube.
That's some serious duct taping. I like that. Oh my word, that is utterly terrifying, isn't it? Can we have, like, for these last two submissions to hack/bodge, it's almost like we need a third category, like an emergency klaxon. Like a stop ride warning, like a bam bam bam. Because why? Why would you do that? Why would you remove half of your bicycle?
Well, maybe they were having trouble getting their leg over the top tube.
Well, yeah, but probably have more trouble by the time they've ridden it. Anyway, well, clearly it does ride if they brought it into the local bike shop.
You might get your legs stuck in the top tube.
Yeah, anyway. Unfortunately, only 7% of you lot thought that one was a hack, and I reckon most of that was banter.
Probably, yeah.
Yes, yeah, okay.
Taking the proverbial. Last up this week, Michael Brooks sent an aero chainring in on a budget. I couldn't find an aero chainring I liked to fit my Cannondale Super 6, so I ordered a small sheet of 1mm carbon fibre and using a jigsaw, drill and sander made my own cover. I now have original Shimano shifting and an aero chainring that fits my power meter.
That is quite cool, isn't it?
Chapeau, I think I would say to that.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that actually makes your bike more aero?
Well, it's got to make a small difference, isn't it?
It looks cool, doesn't it? I mean, that does look cool. So
I'd imagine it's made it aero more compliant and whatever else everything
stiffer.
Does. Yeah.
Yes. No, I think you're right. Definitely stiffer. No, I'm going to say makes your bike look a bit cooler. You've not used zip ties, and
it's a very neat job.
It's not going to kill you. So I'd say that's a hack.
Yeah, he's not removed anything, he's added something on and made it look better and potentially more error as well. So I'm also going hack, as did 81% of you for that final one. So well done to you, Michael.
Nice.
Don't forget to get involved ready for next week's show. We do love the hacks and bodges part of the show, don't we?
We do indeed, yeah. I'm glad we ended on a bit of a high.
Well, yes, we were descending, weren't we, for the first three, even with the voting of the general public. So yeah brought it round at the end.
It's time now for Caption Competition, that part of the show where you get a chance to get your hands on a coveted GCN Elite water bottle. All you got to do is put a witty caption in the comment section down below that relates to a photo we will give you just in a sec after the results of last week, where I wasn't here last week, so that looks like Mark Cavendish riding a rickshaw.
That is exactly what it is, Si, and that was from a criterium in Singapore. So the winner this week...
he was going to win a crit on that thing, is there?
No, but the what my caption was early celebration. Rears its ugly head again, look. Anyway, James 25173 put Caption Competition. Mark Cavendish has a new lead-out man. Mark Rickshaw replaces Mark Renshaw.
That is good.
It is good,
isn't
yes.
it? That's
For those
really
of you fairly
good.
new to the sport, Mark Renshaw was Cavendish's lead-out man extraordinaire for quite a few years.
He was,
so
yeah.
That's a very clever caption, James.
Yeah. All right. Get in touch, James, and we will get you your Elite water bottle out to you. This week's photo is bizarre, isn't it? Are you going to get started? That's Chris Froome and
Jonas Vingegaard.
Of course it is.
Right. Jonas Vingegaard no longer speaking to Chris Froome after Froome calls Vingegaard two-faced.
Well, there needs to be some context. What on earth are they doing?
They had some... It was hard to decipher, Si, because it was all in Japanese, but Vingegaard and Chris Froome were actually teaming up together and running off against Vincenzo Nibali and Alejandro Valverde. From the pictures that I've seen, they had to do their best candy floss, and they had to do their best drawing of a bike with a rider on it, and I don't know what other competitions, but ultimately, these two were trounced 14-3, I think it was, 14-4.
By Nibali?
Well, basically that's it, yes.
Well, there we go. I mean, that sounds like something I'd actually want to watch. My word. Okay, is it on GCN Plus?
There was some footage, I believe, of it, before the criterium.
Excellent.
Yes.
Go have a look.
Anyway, put your best captions in the comment section down below. Pick a winner next week. We've got a few of our favourite comments now ahead of telling you what's coming up on GCN and on GCN Plus this coming week. Starting with this one that came in under Gravel versus Road from Jed Pitts. Can we have more GCN group rides? Great fun and chemistry between all of you. Very entertaining. A lot of people really loved that video, Si.
Yeah, it did. It would be a pleasure because it was a very lovely day. We went for a bike ride. And that was about it. So yes, all right. If you want one, we'll do one.
Imagine somebody had told you 12 years ago you'd be paid for doing something like that.
I know, it's mad, isn't it? Anyway, there we go. Very cool, though. Right, underneath Ollie's video, where he explained how he has become a cycling boss, so much love for it, which is well-deserved, because not only was it a great video that Ollie put together, but also what he's done has been brilliant.
Impressive.
So, a few examples of the many comments. Norbert Kuschik. As a bike riding physician, I can only say congratulations to Ollie for this scientifically accurate, practically achievable and genuinely inspiring advice. It also says, just to add, not only will you be faster now, but you'll also profit for the rest of your life.
Yes,
from that
indeed.
kind of attitude and approach.
Echematiko, but the best thing that ever happened to Ollie was getting dropped. Huge motivation, and now he's probably the fittest GCN presenter. But Si and I were dropped on a regular basis, weren't we, when we were racing? So
Yes.
It didn't work for us, unfortunately.
No, that's true. But a few years later, I did get 11th on Sacalobra.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe we should probably check a few of Ollie's Strava rides, to be honest.
Bobby Bike said, Ollie, thanks for video. Over a year and a half ago, I was at 287 pounds, headed into my second back surgery, needed to lose weight and get healthier. Today, I'm still heavy, 214 pounds, but well on my way. It's taking the dietary steps and adding a daily commute to work as part of my cycling goals. 9.5 miles each way. That's fantastic.
I always love those types of comments.
Yeah, keep it going with the commuting, Bobby. That is absolutely brilliant. There you go.
Thankfully, though, now that Ollie is no longer getting dropped, we brought in Killian Kelly, haven't we? Whose video also went down very well last week. How much does a month's training, how much difference does a month's training make? Matt Wood writes, great to see someone from GCN breathing out of their arse for a change. Even Ollie is now making cycling look too easy, along with the other ex-pros. I can relate to your pain effort, Killian. Well done. I think he is very relatable, isn't he?
He is
the
indeed.
point of life he's at.
Yes, yeah, and it was a great vid as well.
Yeah, he's a really good presenter, annoyingly, isn't he?
Annoyingly
Not only
good,
is
yeah.
he an uber stats geek and incredibly intelligent, he's now very, very good at presenting. Actually has been since he started.
And good at bike riding now as well. Maybe it's time to retire,
people like
Killian
that.
Kelly. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, that was a great last video for Killian Kelly. Only joking. Right then, what is coming up this week on the channel?
Well, we're answering a lot of people's questions tomorrow, aren't we? Because we're going to let you know how to ride in Zone 2. We've basically been inundated with questions since that video of Inigo San Milan came out about the importance of riding in Zone 2. The obvious next question was, but how do you find it? Well, we've gone and made that video so that you can find out exactly how to ride in the correct zone.
No stone was left unturned in the making of that video, and I now know what my Zone 2 is as well.
Is it lower than you thought it was?
No, it was. I'm not going to spoil the surprise, actually.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil
Watch
the
this space. On Thursday, we're going to look at gravel handling skills. It's the latest in our long line of gravel storytelling.
That's
That one, isn't
right,
it?
yeah.
Don't forget the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, yeah, maybe you should suggest Manon for the Hall of Fame as well, because it's her video.
But she's got years to get into a Hall of Fame, so time's running out for me.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you're gonna have to become a race organizer or something to get in.
Yes, or a rouleur was one of the other categories, wasn't it?
Whatever that is. Yeah.
What is the rouleur category for the Hall of Fame?
Gravel
Anyway.
rouleur. Okay, Friday. Well, it's the Track Champions League. First of all, we should tell you about, which is the awesome international track competition that's kind of a slightly different format to the traditional Worlds or Olympics, isn't it? So a bit more dynamic, great spectator
Faster,
sport. Yes,
more action in a shorter period of time.
Yes, exactly. So that is on Saturday. The first round of 5 takes place in Mallorca. Anyway, whilst they were getting ready for that, we snuck onto the track and to see exactly how hard track cycling was. So we've got another of GCN's, what should we say, less experienced riders tackling the terrifying boards of the Paris Velodrome.
Although, to be fair, a less experienced ride on the track could have been you or I, couldn't it?
That is true, yes. Yes, we've been round once on a Trandom, and that's about it. And then on Saturday, we are talking about how to stay fitter as you get older. So we've got tips with an absolute legend of the racing scene to find out how he's still going so fast at the age of 53. So that's going to be relevant to a few of us, I would imagine. And then on Sunday, I'm particularly excited about this video. 2 GCN viewers got in touch to say they were going on a budget bikepacking holiday. Did one of us want to go with them? And Hank did. So Hank went on a budget bikepacking holiday with 2 completely random people and has made a video for us, and I cannot wait.
No.
He came in this morning looking slightly shell-shocked.
I bet he loved it. I bet those 2 are worn out though, I would imagine. Right, that's what's on GCN. In terms of GCN Plus, I've already mentioned the first round of the UCI Track Champions League from Mallorca. That's on Saturday evening from about 5:30, I think, live coverage, UK time, 6:30 European time. We've got the next round of the Super Prestige Series for you on Friday, available worldwide excluding Belgium. And then the next round of the UCI World Cup, cyclocross that is, this coming Sunday. More territory restrictions apply to that one. Beyond all of that though, we've actually got something quite different on GCN Plus in terms of not racing, but events this week, because it's the UCI BMX Flatland Park and Trials World Championships.
Oh wow, the Flatland
Friday,
Park and Trials World Champs.
Yeah, Friday through to Sunday. I always like watching that sort of thing though.
Yeah.
I mean, I know nothing about it, but they're very clever, aren't they?
They are indeed, and they don't use anything to measure their aerodynamics or their blood glucose or even their recovery.
And they can't do it in a car.
No, you can't do it in a car. On that note, we should probably say goodbye for this week, shouldn't we, Nate?
Yeah, goodbye.